a little bit fearful that what goes to Columbus doesn't always necessarily come back from Columbus. So, and, let's hope that this year's review of the components of House Bill 5 have some safeguards in there for us. There was one item, I was contacted by someone from the school concerning an issue at the school property directly behind the community building. The ball field there for years has been made available for the local baseball league to have games there. And I don't know the specifics, but it would seem to be that during the time period that they had received a grant from the Cincinnati Reds Foundation, that a basketball goal that was part of the basketball courts behind the community building was either damaged or somehow apparently removed. And the school was saying, hey, we'd like to have that back. Unfortunately, I think the story's gotten twisted around that somehow that this was part of the recreation committee, and we don't have. But I'd certainly like to know if anyone knows who the proper contact is for the baseball folks now. Kind of get to the bottom of this and try to.
I can fill you in a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, even at the time when we were actually doing that and expanding it, because they wanted to widen it, make it more
A legal field, right?
Yes, exactly. And I had contacted Winton Woods School District and talked to the person that was in charge of that and letting them know that we were going to be taking a portion of that asphalt that was there along with one of those baskets. It didn't make any difference to them because it really wasn't being used at the time. So we got permission to go ahead and do that, to expand it.
That's not when the actual basketball hoop was
Eliminated?
Yeah, because it was backed over by a truck that was delivering dirt to the field. That's what happened.
You mean
Because
after that?
Yeah.
Like maybe a year or so ago?
It wasn't that long, it was this past spring or something.
Oh, okay, wow.
Or
2
has it
years.
been 2 years? Okay, 2 years. No, the truck was there delivering dirt, and accidentally, it wasn't really set as well as it could be because it had been there for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know how much effort it took to knock it over, but it took it out. And my understanding is that's not our property.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so not being our property, I'm not sure, if it's our place to respond, other than letting them know that it's not our property.
Well,
Was it people who were delivering the dirt for the ball field? Is that what it was?
That
Greg,
was my
your
understanding.
guess,
Okay.
your guess is as good
I mean,
as
I know
mine.
John McDaniel at the time was a part of when they got that money from Cincinnati Reds. I know he's not involved so much anymore because his kids have grown and, playing baseball elsewhere in high school and so on, but.
So is it down one basketball goal or two?
Just,
One.
yeah, one.
Because I had I can't remember who I asked what had happened, but, I didn't know who was responsible for
But
it.
they were asking you about getting another.
Well, yeah, the inquiry was made, was, and it was being thrown out, make a connection with the recreation committee.
Okay.
And I knew that wasn't correct.
Who was the person that talked to you? I remember.
Gary Sweetman.
Okay. Yeah, that's not the gentleman that I talked to when I got the information to go.
Steve Denny's the business manager that would have some. But I mean, there's another issue up there with the stability of the dugouts up there, and
I knew originally they weren't built to code. My understanding is that they had to make some changes.
And they did.
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
sure?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
in fact, I've got pictures. I was walking my daughter's dog by there, I have pictures when the whole thing was collapsed and nails were sticking up and everything else. So it went back up, and I thought that they were working to match code at that point. But other than the attempts to burn them down, which was another.
Did Gary Sweetman make mention of that as well, about the dugouts?
No,
Okay, somebody else did.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, since that's sort of recreation, you'll,
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
definitely
if
check
you
it out.
could just, if you could just get me the contact, and we'll.
Okay.
With the ball rig.
Just
Yeah, I'll do
one
that.
other comment. It was my understanding that if the Reds Fund actually gave funds, that there was supposed to be some kind of maintenance agreement along with that the teams would actually participate in keeping the fields up. Is that true?
Don't know. I don't know what they have with that. I mean, I can always call John and find out what it was. So he's the one who really got that all together.
Okay.
and the village agreed to doing something with that, but I can't remember what was discussed. That was sort of in the transition period between.
Well, somebody should have some original documents and maybe we can.
John does.
I just,
I know John.
I just didn't want the village to be blamed for something that we had no party of. so,
Right.
Okay. Any other questions? Moving on. Service and Streets, Councilmember Walter.
I had attempted to have the meeting on the 5th of January, and I just had to exchange questions, answers, kind of things with the village employees. Then I attempted to have another one on this past Monday and was not able to have a quorum either. So what I did was the summary of my questions and answers. I went ahead and sent it to Mrs. Lives as a summary, not as a minutes, or because I didn't have a quorum, I couldn't have a meeting. But this is how much I found out, that the waterworks portion of the Winton Road project is 95% completed. The rest will be in March of 2015. Also, the village manager is expecting to learn more about the municipal road funding in February. We're still waiting for the state bid to be awarded for the service truck. We have some tree planting that we have done, and we are looking forward to the spring to have some more tree planting. We assess the fact that the salt supplies remains good at this time. We are waiting with anticipation for the next potholes that are going to be sprouting due to the next winter months. Hopefully not too many. I just also want to mention that it was a wonderful site, and just to give an idea of how many extra things we have to be thankful for our service department. I just found them in the winter, going around all Winter Road there towards the edge of the demarcation of the village with garbage cans, picking up garbage. And they have the truck that says the Village of Greenhills on the one end, and it was just rolling those garbage cans down with the trash that they picked up on both sides of the road in there. It was incredible. They did a great job cleaning it up. I also want to mention that we had very good accomplishments that were met on 2014 in Streets and Services. The painting of the service building, that was kind of paramount to anything else that we have been trying to do for several years. We had a couple of bicycle racks installed in the square. We had relocated some benches, so the new sidewalk had some area pressed for the new walking paths that are going to be marked in there. There was an extensive pruning that was done, and one of them was I called because I am not very tall, and I know that this is hard for you to imagine me saying that, but when I was walking on one of the tree areas there, the planting area that belongs to us, and suddenly I almost got knocked down by one of the branches and realized that something needed pruning. So mentioning my stature and the fact of the height of the branch made such an impact, and a lot of those things were taken care of right away. It was very refreshing to see that as long as you tell somebody that there is a problem, it's being done. So It's very refreshing. Wanted to also mention that there were several painting jobs that they have done besides that. Now for 2015, we are in front of the mandates of new signage having to do with street signage. It has to be reflective and so forth. It's going to cost a lot of money. We have to, they are due by 2018. So we talked about, Ms. Kovac, perhaps you can add something to that, to perhaps figure out some kind of a plan and how to get it started, or how much they are a piece, and try to work a little bit on that. Right now, the number one item is the service truck. That we are waiting for that. And on the 9th of January, I met with Mr. Moore. We happened to go to the same meeting of the Hamilton County Board of Health. I met this past Monday Jeff Halter at the Historical Society there, so we do cross paths around here. And I will be attending on the 29th, which is on Thursday, the Hamilton County Municipal League. It will be held in Blue Ash. And our next meeting for Street and Services would be on February the 23rd at 9 a.m.
Questions, comments?
I want to give thanks to the Services Department. In our traffic and safety meeting yesterday, it was brought up that there was a few illegal signs on posts, and I noticed that today they were taken down. So good job with the Services Department hearing concerns and taking care of the problem.
What were the illegal signs?
We buy houses for cash
Oh, really?
on telephone pole. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, moving on, community development, Councilmember Halter.
Well, speaking of buying houses for cash, we are continuing to, if they were offering enough cash, then they could buy some buildings from us. We're continuing to move out of that area of business and responsibly sell homes. The other thing that I'd like to mention is that we've set up a calendar thanks to Maria's encouragement. Monday, got the wrong one, that's correct. Monday, May 18th, 2015, 7 to 8 p.m. in the council chambers. We'll have Jack and I will have a community development committee meeting, as well as Monday, October 19th this year, 7 to 8, council chambers as well. Also, just might be a little bit redundant, but if you wanted more information about the building doctor, you can go to ohiohistory.org. We're hoping to get the application so that you could just click on our website to download that and connect there. I think some exciting things are happening with the Historical Society. It seems like there's a new, fresh spark there. I'm sure it has to do with the members that were there last night. But we do live in a great place, and there's a lot of good things that go unnoticed to many people, not only outside the community, but within the community. And that concludes my report.
Hearing no questions, comments, traffic and safety, Councilmember
Roll call, it's fine.
Okay.
Let's not be too confusing. We did meet yesterday at 4:30. We are going to continue to meet on the 4th Monday of the month at 4:30 unless otherwise discussed. The Chief of Police gave his report, and we discussed some of the same items that he brought up tonight, so I won't go into that. The fire department mentioned that they have been working on their EMT refresher. So they're working on some new protocols and going through that process. They also brought up that Hamilton County has a mutual aid contract that the fire chiefs have signed, and so they're bringing it to us. We're gonna review that and bring it in front of council not today, but at the appropriate time after we've had a chance to review it. They mentioned that their engine is 25 years old, and so they're gonna start researching replacing it. It wouldn't be for this year, but they want to start the process to get it started, and the Quint is about to be paid off, which is good news. And then they just updated some of the fire station concerns with the building. including the painting project. They should be finishing that in the spring. The east side has some mold, mildew, kind of, that needs to be removed.
It's the exterior.
The exterior,
side,
yes.
yeah.
But just because it's just taking a little bit longer than they had hoped. Another thing, we did also talk about the garbage cans, so that seems to be a subject in every single committee. And then also, we had a little, Yvonne gave us an update on the traffic light issues. Duke has let us know that there's been some power surges that has caused some of our traffic lights to malfunction or to blink. So they are investigating that and will keep us apprised. I did ask if that might affect any of our residences, and they were not unclear at this time if it will. So there have been some power surges in the power lines. So the manager will keep on top of that for us.
Actually, now that you mention it, it explains some of the things happening in my upstairs office. The lights rolling a little bit more and coming down. I wonder if there's a correlation.
And it could just be the infrastructure, the age, there's unknowns at this time.
Squirrels.
Okay.
It is a possibility. We
Any
do have
questions?
quite a few of those.
Any questions of the traffic and safety?
I forgot to mention this yesterday at our traffic and safety meeting, but it should be in our minutes somewhere that the group that meets once a year to hold a fireman's dependency fund meeting did meet in January. God forbid we ever had a member of our fire department killed in the line of duty. There is a very minuscule amount of life insurance for them, and that's part of the reason that we meet and do the paperwork for that and get it back. So that has been accomplished for this year.
Great.
All right, so, new business. I'm gonna ask, I don't know if we need to change, but Kathy, at the proper time, motion to appoint a person to the Recreation Commission. Do we need to make a change in the agenda for that?
Yeah, we need to add it.
Okay, and also a motion to, where's that motion? On the adopting,
Oh, we've got to retain the rules of council.
motion to retain the current rules of council.
Now would be the proper
Okay.
time to add all three of those motions.
I'd like to make a motion to retain the rules of council.
But we got
No,
to change
to-
the
no,
motion
to
to
add it to the
amend-
agenda, to amend the agenda to,
Add the rules of
to
Reaffirm.
reaffirm the rules of council. I'll never do this again. So the motion is to amend the agenda to reaffirm the rules of council.
And
And,
Oh, you want me to do all three?
go ahead.
And,
And,
what was the,
make an appointment to the mayor's appointment. Motion to approve the mayor's appointment to the Recreation Commission.
yeah, to make an appointment to amend the agenda to allow the mayor to make an appointment to.
To the Recreation
Commission. I'm so glad I'm on TV. Third,
You look good in red.
Oh,
The officers of council.
the officers of council
is the third.
is the third.
Let's do elected officers.
Okay, and the third point is to add to the agenda to elect the officers of council.
Bingo.
is that it?
That's
That's
plenty.
more than I bargained for.
Okay.
I'll
We
second
have-
that.
We need to vote on that?
Yeah.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hear no nays. Okay, all right, new business. First thing, resolution 2015-03-F, resolution approving the Greenhills annual permanent appropriations for 2015. Councilmember Greaves.
Mr. Mayor, I have resolution 2015-03F, resolution approving the Greenhills annual permanent appropriation for 2015. A resolution to make permanent appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Greenhills, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2015 pursuant to Exhibit A, permanent appropriation for 2015 attached hereto and by reference made a part hereof. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, State of Ohio, that to provide for the current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Greenhills during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2015, the following sums be and they are hereby set aside and appropriated as follows, namely, Section 1, that there be appropriated from the general fund $1,920,800. Section 2, that there be appropriated from the special revenue funds $1,306,378. Section 3, that there be appropriated from the debt bond retirement fund $901,301. Section 4, that there be appropriated to the special assessment fund $49,300. Section 5, that there be appropriated from capital projects funds $508,398 for a grand total of $4,686,177 for all funds. Section 6, and the village finance director is hereby authorized to draw warrants for payments from any of the foregoing appropriations upon receiving proper certificates and vouchers therefore, approved by the board of officers, authorized by law to approve the same or an ordinance or resolution of council to make the expenditures, provided that no warrant shall be drawn or paid for salaries or wages except to persons employed by authority of and in accordance with law and ordinance. Section 7, this ordinance shall take effect immediately upon passage. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
And should we say this resolution versus this ordinance?
Yes, I believe I said did I say ordinance or did I say
I
resolution?
think you said resolution.
It is a resolution, so I think the proper word there should be resolution. Let me read section 7 again so that it is clear as to my intent. Section 7, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon passage. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
I second.
Any questions, discussion, clarification?
Just a couple of comments. This resolution is consistent with what was in the budget. There's not more dollars being appropriated than were in the budget.
Just a couple things.
Yes.
But on capital projects, I wanted to, council to be clear that that reflects grant money we received for the Winton Road
Phase
project
2.
and for the
Phase 2.
water project.
Yes.
The special assessment is our tree assessment.
Ready to vote? All those in favor, we have roll call.
Roll call?
Aye.
Freeze,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Okay, resolution 2015-03-F carries. Next one, Mr. Breeze has also is resolution 2015-04-F, resolution confirming the level of control for annual appropriations.
All right, this is a resolution. We'll read it all as required. Resolution 2015-04-F, resolution confirming the level of control for the annual appropriation, whereas Ohio budgetary law calls out levels of control for the annual appropriation of municipalities, and whereas the Greenhills annual appropriation is prepared in a manner giving village council control at the fund and program levels and the amount designated for personal services, any changes to these levels must be approved by village council, and whereas village council desires to minimize the number of appropriation amendments by confirming the management level of control over the appropriation, now therefore be it resolved by the council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, that Section 1, the management level of control is below the legal level of control which is established by the appropriation resolution at the object level of the appropriation. These types of changes can be made by the finance director with permission of the municipal manager. Any changes to the appropriation at the legal level of control will require village council approval. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt resolution 2015-04F.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 2015-04-F.
I'm gonna request that the manager provide some comments on
Okay.
this. Thank you.
Okay, and I've got my backup in the audience here, so he understands this a lot better. But I've been trying to think how I can explain this in more layman's terms, and if you look at the appropriation that you just passed, you know, it's broken down by general fund, street maintenance fund, you know, the special funds, those are the funds. In your control is at the fund, and then the program level, like for example, within the general fund is the police, community, planning, post office, you can read those are the different program levels. It's also like for each one you have to have a personal services outlined, and then the all other expenses. Do you see those on your list there? Okay. That is what is meant by your fund and program levels. Did I say that okay, Matt?
Yes, but the object level is within the personal services and the other expenses.
And that is where management's control has been. I don't see that you're giving anything up. You've always approved it at this level. You will continue to approve it at this level, correct?
So we're talking roughly $29,000 on those two, or?
Are you looking at a specific one?
Well, no, where you said personal you mean all these
Yeah,
personal services?
all of those, right.
All right.
You'll see that there's a personal service for anywhere where there are those categories. You'll see that as well as
Right.
all other expenses. So movement can only be within those. It can't be between them. It can only be within them. Anything other than that would come to you for approval.
So this is the level we approve it, and there's actually additional levels beneath the categories we see.
Correct.
And those additional levels, you're allowed to change funds, but you can't change it from what we just passed.
Correct. Right. Anything you just passed would have to.
You wanna
go
come on
back
up
to
here,
you
man?
for changes.
Yeah, sure.
State your name and address.
With that, nothing really changes with this. It's just more of a confirming it, and what I'm allowed, or what we are allowed to change is, like say in the general fund, you have the general fund, then the police, and then other. Like what we'd be doing is, say, we'd be moving a utilities line to a contract service or something along those lines, just for a housekeeping type bill.
And then the source, you talked about this coming from the auditor's office, or did I?
Well, how it's written, you mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
This is all lifted right there from the village officer's handbook, which is put out by the state auditor's office.
And the legal level of control is described in AOC, I think it's 117-202C1.
And we're consistent.
That makes sense.
So you're reading pleasure. Jeff, and you've reviewed this, this is consistent with what other municipalities do, and you don't see any problems, and you don't see we're derelict in our duties or giving up control or lack of fiduciary responsibility?
No. Especially given that you just passed just right before that, you passed the appropriation. And nothing at that level can change without coming back to council.
I see this as, we were always going and making appropriations for all these little small things, and that just kind of takes it away, where we don't really need to do that, and what we were doing before, isn't that correct? We were having all these different appropriations we had to pass and pay.
Yeah, I think a lot of times in the past, we did have a lot of detail that probably
Didn't
kind of
need to,
stupid to have to come to council, but.
especially when you do
still
this kind of
no, it
passing in the very beginning, as far as these funds will be going over to these particular priorities and what you're set aside for. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
that
it's
we're
certainly-
agreeing to that, for sure, and then all those little small things as far as, hey, let's put $5,000, $2,000, $3,000 over here, we're flip-flopping, you know. it's those kind of things, or managerial and finance director, that's your job, that's what we trust for you to do. And it's not gonna be any more than we're appropriating before this other
Right.
resolution.
Any of this changes, it will be back in front of you.
Right.
Well, there's two things that bother me about this. Number one, when we make the appropriation to a particular category, even within that category, I feel that that doesn't quite imply that the cash is available to be spent somewhere else. It bothers me that movement, that flexibility of that. Together with that, I know that the amendments for modifications on the appropriation measures that we have, I understand you're trying to simplify it. I want it to be a little bit clearer, and I know you gave me a copy of the paper, Ms. Kovac, because I came to you yesterday. I know that I went to you and you gave me the ones from the accounting part in there. It just feels that you're robbing Peter to pay Paul somehow in there, and yet the cash was appropriated for a particular, even sub-level of that account. That bothers me, and the second part of it that bothers me was, and this is not anything having to do with this particular issue, but the fact that we have a work session in which I thought that perhaps this should have been brought over there so we could have made these comments and asked those questions, and yet this is the first time that we just have it here to vote on. So those are two separate things that are bothering me about this particular issue. When we made the work session to have it prior to the actual council meeting, we stated at that time, and I remember, this would be really great because we're going to be able to discuss beforehand what we're going to be voted on, and we can arrive to an understanding of it. It seems like we also skipped that middle step in there, so I feel a little bit, I'm a very, would say, left-brain regimented, and somehow on that addition, something was taken out, and I don't feel comfortable with it, and those are my feelings about it. And I know that you explained that, and we talked about it, we spent a lot of time yesterday. I spent an immense amount of time on their website from the auditors, the state auditors today, went through PowerPoint presentations on this whole issue itself, and I don't feel apathetic about it, that's all I have to say. I'm sorry about that.
Any other?
Something I will say though is that the legal level is set by council. You can choose to have a lower level of control. If you want to refine like down to the object level, you can do that. It's up to council. So this is just playing within the boundaries of what's already set. That's all this is.
It just feels that somehow on the finance of the village, that was part of the job that I was elected to do, and I feel like
don't think so. I think we were elected
To do that.
at this level. I really do, in a broad sense. I think when we get in to a point where we're micromanaging and minutia.
That's why you hire these people here to go out and do that. That's why you trust them to do that. You know, that's
And you
what
have an audit to verify.
Yeah. I mean, you're
Which we will have
verifying
this year,
upon
right?
verifying, and right now you trust that they're doing everything where it should be, just like what Jeff Forbes says, just like where they got the information and how it was worded in this resolution. It just makes sense. So it's like you can question everything until you die, you know, and that means, the way I look at it right now, every time something like that's brought up, you're saying, I don't really trust you, Yvonne. I don't really trust you either, Matt. So we're gonna make sure it's gonna be worded the way we think it should be worded, because we don't trust you. That's the way I would feel if I was in their position. That's what, and it pains me, you know, when all these things are brought up, because you guys will never do that. And you know what I mean, it's good for the village, what you're doing, you're trying to help out. So that's the way I look at it.
Is this a change of what we've done in the past?
No, this
This
is
is just
always,
codifying.
this has always been like part of the OAC and how it's all done. This is just more of just putting it on the books and alerting the council just as to what we're doing.
Yes, we've done this for 25, 30 years, something like that.
Maria, in your study of what was on the auditor's website, and I think Mr. Yost he's pretty much a stickler for details in my read of it. I mean, were any of your concerns brought up in what he's?
Well, the part of it also was time-wise, because I became aware of this on Sunday. We just didn't have a work session on that, so I have not, I'm not going to apologize for the way I feel. I just, this is the way I feel, and like I said, I'm just very systematic on my organization of thought, and that's just thought I brought that up. Time-wise, I felt very constrained, and I started working on it, and the more I started working on it, the more I found out, and then I just felt, well, it's 5:15,
Can
and
I
I
make
have
a
to come here.
recommendation that, just to respect your opinion, we're not in a rush to have to do this right now, correct? We can do this leave this open for a work session. I feel good about what I've heard from Jeff, where the source is, the fact we've done this for many years, but out of respect for some dissenting opinions, not only by Maria, but some of the audience. I don't think it hurts us to look at it at a work session and give you a chance. I feel like you need more details, though,
I
than say
do.
I look at the website and don't feel good about it. That seems more right brain than left brain.
Well,
But,
Okay, well,
but no, and that's okay. And I'm just saying this would give you
Well, it's already
some
been
time.
read and also seconded, so we have to do something with that now.
Yeah, let me ask a procedural question. If we decide to remove this from a vote, do I need to withdraw my motion to approve?
No.
Or do I set it aside?
I will keep the question, what is your desire? Is it to remove it completely or to postpone it to a certain time?
Yes, I would like to postpone it to a certain time. That would be the February regular council meeting.
24th.
24.
Okay.
I don't know what the date is, but
Okay,
I'll trust you.
It's
So
the
the
24th,
motion-
because the 23rd is my day.
Yeah.
Okay, the motion then would be to postpone it to the regular council meeting of February 24th. Do we need a
As you
second?
stated, so moved.
Exactly.
That's what I should.
do we need a roll call on
She
that, or
seconded that.
just ayes?
Voice vote is fine.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
Okay, motion carries.
Can,
Okay, one nay.
can I also ask that it be brought up at our work session?
I'll take care of that.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
also to provide the permanent appropriation. I thought this was helpful when reviewing it, so to have this resolution at the work session to look at as well.
Okay, moving on, resolution 2015-06-F, authorizing municipal manager to enter into an agreement with Sure Shot Landscaping.
We skipped 5.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Okay.
A resolution 2015-05F, resolution requesting the county auditor to make tax advances during the year 2015 pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 321.34, whereas the Ohio Revised Code allows the taxing authority to request payment from the county auditor funds derived from taxes or other sources to the county treasurer, which may be held on account of a location subdivision. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, the auditor and treasurer of Hamilton County, in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 321.34, be required to draw and pay the Village of Greenhills upon written request of the Finance Director, Matt Sanders, to the county auditor, funds due in any settlement of 2015 derived from taxes or other sources payable to the county treasurer to the account of the Village of Greenhills and lawfully applicable for purposes of the current fiscal year. Section 2, Clerk of Village of Greenhills be and hereby is directed to transmit a certified copy of this resolution to the Auditor of Hamilton County, Ohio. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Resolution 2015-05-F. Shouldn't be any question of this since this is.
No, we better do this or no mun, no fun is what they say.
Roll call?
Dries.
Aye.
Halter.
Aye.
Hermes.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Walther.
Aye.
Brokaw.
Aye.
Resolution number 2015-05-F, requesting our money from the county auditor, basically, passes. Okay, now we'll do resolution 2015-06-F. Mr. Duke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2015-06F, authorizing the municipal manager to enter into an agreement with Sure Shot Landscaping. Whereas the Village of Greenhills has determined that it is more economical and efficient to utilize a contractor for grass mowing services, whereas Sure Shot Landscaping submitted the lowest and best bid following a competitive bid process and is qualified to provide such services, and whereas therefore now be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, the municipal manager is hereby authorized to enter into an agreement that is substantially consistent with the attached agreement labeled as Exhibit A with Sure Shot Landscaping for grass mowing services. Section 2, that the finance director is authorized to make payments to Sure Shot Landscaping pursuant to the final agreement. Section 3, that this resolution shall take effect and be in full force on the date of this passage. I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Pass resolution 2015-06-F, authorizing municipal manager to enter into an agreement with Sure Shot Landscaping.
They're back.
Any comments or questions?
They used to cut her along before.
Okay, hearing none. Roll call?
Halter.
Aye.
Hermes.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Walther.
Aye.
Brokaw.
Aye.
Dries.
Aye.
Resolution number 2015-06-F carries. Okay, next item, motion to establish a temporary chain of command in the absence of a municipal manager pursuant to Greenhills Chapter 4.30. And who's doing this? Oh, Lee. Okay.
It's thrown, in your packet, there's an internal memorandum from the municipal manager. The purpose of this memorandum is to inform you that in the event that she is temporarily absent from the village, following chain of command would exist: finance director, police chief, executive assistant to the municipal manager, and the service foreman, pursuant to the Greenhills Charter, Section 4.30A, upon the council's approval of this designated chain of command. I move that the temporary chain of command be accepted.
I'll second that.
Any questions? All of those in favor? Aye. Those opposed,
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right, does anyone want to make a motion to appoint Sean Patterson, approve the mayor's appointment of Sean Patterson to the Recreation Commission?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. And now we have another motion, who's,
Mr. Mayor, I move that the current rules of council be reaffirmed for the 2015 calendar year.
Can I
Yes.
jump in real quick?
Mhm.
Of the two that are remaining, just to take them in the order that the charter provides for these two things, the officers, the one on the officers of council, I think should be done first.
Okay.
just to keep consistent with the order of the charter.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the President Pro Temp and Vice President Pro Temp be reappointed for the 2015 year.
Second?
Second it?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to keep the same President Pro Tem, Vice President Pro Tem.
And for clarification purposes, that's Mr. Dries is President Pro Temp and Mr. Hermes is Vice President Pro Temp.
Okay, all those in favor?
Is there any other motions entertained at this time, or?
Well, we've got a motion on the floor now. I don't,
I mean, there can be discussion,
After the
discussion.
and
second.
it can be amended.
Okay.
I would like to move for Melanie Brokaw to be the president. I just feel that having the law degree, having worked 10 years on another government entity that she has, and the job that she has as a finance officer, I just
Director of Operations.
Huh?
It's Director of
Director of
Operations.
Operations, well, I would like to move for her to be considered.
So I don't handle that.
Well, I think what we were just saying is that, I think there's a motion
There needs to be-
already. This would, I think, be treated as a motion to amend, to change. You have a motion on the floor to basically reappoint Mr. Dries and Mr. Hermes. This would be treated as a motion to amend that motion for just President Pro Tem.
Can we have discussion before that?
Well, hold on, let's make sure we know what we're doing first. So you are making a motion to amend the motion that's on the floor
Yes, sir.
to replace Mr. Dries with Ms. Brokaw.
Ms. Brokaw.
And Mr. Dries can be vice.
You know, then
Well,
I think
is-
they should withdraw
I was
the
wondering if we could
elections
switch that then.
and do- let's go back and do the elections. What if this does not receive a second? It's moot.
Right. First, I think we need to be clear on what your motion is.
Can we have two motions on the floor at the same time?
You can, there is a motion, and you can have a motion to amend that, but we have to be clear what the motion to amend is. Is it to appoint Ms. Brokaw as President Pro Tem and someone else as Vice President Pro Tem, or keeping Mr. Hermes Vice President Pro Tem as in the original? I just need to know what your
I didn't know that both of them have to be done simultaneously.
Well, the
like-
motion that's on the floor is to reappoint both.
Then the president would be Ms. Brokaw, and vice president then would be Mr. Dries.
Okay, so that's the motion to amend.
Mhm.
We need a second.
It would need a second, but if there is objection to the motion to simply reaffirm, then you really should go back to the election process. So withdraw the motion to reaffirm and do the election.
And the only place we have room for discussion is post.
Is
Responding
prior
to
to
the-
the elections, exactly. And there would at this point be nominations from the council. So if there's no second to Ms. Walters' motion to amend, then the motion would be to retain as you have it, the appointment of Dries and Hermes, to keep that. If there is a second, then my suggestion would be to withdraw the motion to retain and go to the election process, because there's an objection. Obviously, two people are agreeing that, yeah, we need to talk about this, just redo the election process.
I second it on the basis of wanting to discuss it, so I second the amendment.
Then at this point, it would be my suggestion to simply withdraw the motion to amend and the motion to retain, and move to conduct the elections at this point.
Elections or discussion?
The elections would be, it depends on how you want to do them. If you want to do them by ballot, but there would be nominations.
The only reason I bring that up is I have no, from my vantage point, I have no idea of all the parties that are being involved with this, if they even had a clue that this was coming. And as far as I know, you could be gladly giving that position up. You could love the position, you could hate the position. I just have no bearing now that this has been laid on the table.
You should withdraw these motions, go to the election process, and nominate, but prior to the nomination, explain why you are nominating.
This has to be done tonight.
First.
Yeah, by charter, this is supposed to be done at the first regular council meeting in January.
Okay.
So,
So does anybody want to withdraw their motion?
Well, at this point also, if Ms. Brokaw does not wish to serve, she can respectfully decline. Then you can go back to the motion to retain. Unless there's an objection to that motion, then you would need to go through the election process. So those are the options open to you.
no pressure.
And what's the election process
It would be
per se?
the nominations and then the vote.
But it's nominations, no discussion, election. I mean, when is there conversations?
Prior to, so that the election will take place for a mayor pro tem. Are there any nominations? Someone would nominate and say, I nominate Joe Smith because blah, 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 blah. Then you would, when the nominations are complete and there are no further nominations, then the vote is taken. After the nominations are closed, then the vote is taken, how many for Joe Smith, how many for Mary Smith, and the majority would prevail.
And I gave the reasons why I was nominating Ms. Brokaw at the beginning of it. Do I have to reinstate that?
I wouldn't think so.
What do you say? Before we keep on going on and on.
I
Would
was
you like-
saying I'm kind of thinking I'd be interested in the vice position if just that would give me another year's experience before stepping into the president position. And it sounds like Councilman Hermes is willing to not be vice. So that's completely a third different amendment than what's even on the floor, which is why I'm so
That's why
confused.
That's why it's best to go back to the election process and do it by that process, as opposed to doing it by a motion to retain, which would be fine if there were no objections, but obviously, and that objections are not that someone objects, it's saying I want to do it this way, I'm going to do something different.
If I believe the motion to amend has to be withdrawn first.
Correct.
And then reinstate it.
No, all motions have to be withdrawn and then.
We
we
have
have
to
to-
have a clean slate.
Okay, we'll have a clean slate and then I'll withdraw my amendment then.
Yeah,
The motion to withdraw my amendment.
And
I-
that has, because it was seconded, it has to be by a voice vote because it does not belong to you, it belongs to the body. Therefore, it has to be
We're so
voted
glad you're
on.
here, Kathleen.
Okay, all those in favor? Say
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, then the motion to withdraw, the motion to reappoint or retain Mr. Dries and Mr. Hermes, because that was seconded, that needs to be by vote of the body as well.
I withdraw my motion to reappoint the current president and vice president pro tem.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Now
Okay,
you're
motion
back
carries.
to, that's all gone. Now you're-
And now they would want to decline.
Do we have to?
It's like
amend
punch his
the
pilot,
agenda?
wash his hands.
Do we have to amend the agenda?
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no, because what you will be doing now is going through the election process, so you can do them one at a time. I nominate so-and-so for President Pro Tem. I nominate so-and-so for President Pro Tem. And as you nominate, you can give your little spiel, if you will.
Guess we
And then
haven't
we'll
already
vote.
heard it. Okay. All right, I call for nominations for President Pro Tem.
I nominate Ms. Brokaw for President Pro Tem. And I already stated the reasons why. And I nominate,
Right, we're just doing one.
Just
right?
one.
Yeah.
We'll go one office at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of us has to say something, right?
No,
Someone
we
can
just
nominate.
vote
Are there any
unless
other
somebody.
nominations?
Oh, okay.
I nominate Glenn Dries for President Pro Tem,
And I think they should.
because I think he's done an excellent job and deserves to be returned. that
Yeah,
position.
sure.
All right. Call for the vote.
Any other nominations?
Oh, any other nominations? Hearing none, the nominations are closed. Okay.
Now, it is up to you as to how you want to take the vote. If you want to do it by a show of hands, I would recommend that so that you know what the count is.
All right, show of hands.
Okay.
We gotta be clear about what we're showing.
Okay. For Melanie Brokaw.
Wait, I just wanna make sure we go through the whole thing. This is for the position of President Pro Tem. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Are we showing hands for
We're
you?
showing hands.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Show of hands for Glenn Dries for President Pro Tem. Okay, President Pro Tem is Mr. Dries. Okay, nominations for Vice President Pro Tem.
You would declare then Mr.
Oh,
Mr. Dries
Mr.
as
Dries,
President Pro Tem.
Congratulations.
I'd like to nominate Melanie Brokaw for Vice President Pro Tem.
I'll second that.
Second.
We have any other nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed. And so, just one? So, congratulations. We don't vote on that, it's just by
Just
acclamation.
by
By acclamation. Melanie Brokaw is Vice President Pro Tem Council.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, the next motion.
Now, I move that the rules of council adopted in 2014 be reaffirmed for the calendar year 2015.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt
Okay.
retain the rules of council that were adopted in 2014. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Do we have any announcements for the calendar?
February 23rd, for street and services at 9 a.m.
Is that it?
I don't know the date, but there's, third Wednesday of the month.
Okay.
It's recreation.
Intergovernmental.
Check the village website.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming, everyone. Meeting's adjourned.
I wanted to say happy birthday to my 93-year-old grandmother.
Is she a village
And
resident?
she's watching.
Is she a village resident?
I think we might still be on.
Happy birthday, Beth.
to